Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based film critics talk politely about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Adam McDonald.
And I'm Brooks Bird.
See how polite we are? Adam talked over my intro. It's already begun. Guys,
It's already begun.
We're on Zoom. I don't love it. We're back on Zoom, but Brooks' microphone is working. We are a fully technically capable company right now, Big Movie Mouth Off. Very proud of us. Well,
we got our big boy pants on.
We do. On this episode, we are going to talk about a movie none of you have seen. We're going to talk about another movie that all of you have seen, and then we're going to do our guilty pleasures, and then we're going to do our coming attractions. The first up, though, is Renfield. Before we get into it, how about a little bit of the trailer?
Let me explain. My boss gave me this power. In return, I tend to his needs, including care, feeding.
You bring him people to eat? You're like the guy that gets the villain's Postmates.
But if you were to stop focusing on his needs, what would happen?
He won't grow to full power.
Exactly. He won't grow to full power. What? That's so weird. Why would you phrase it like that? But yes.
Okay, we're back. Adam, I think people might need a little bit more context on this one because I think it's probably a mystery to most people.
Yeah, it's so this stars Nicholas Hoult as Renfield, who most of us should know from the classic Dracula story. Basically, he's Dracula's servant, friend, slave, thrall, familiar, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And Dracula is played by none other than Nicolas Cage, whose id is released in this movie for the entire runtime. Essentially, Dracula got in a fight he couldn't win, and Renfield has taken him to is it New Orleans, right? I want to say.
Yep,
yes.
Exactly.
To gain his strength back and recover. Meanwhile, he meets a cop named Rebecca, played by Awkwafina, who is trying to avenge the death of her father. And as their relationship blossoms, Renfield realizes he's in an abusive relationship with Dracula and wants to get away, and he works on that by becoming superpowered by eating bugs and fighting crime families and Dracula and all the fun things.
If that sounds preposterous, it is, and it is wonderfully preposterous. I'm going to ask the only question that matters right from the top. I'm going to get right into the heart of the matter. Where does Nicolas Cage rank in cinematic Draculas? For me, number one. It's the best I've seen. I'm obsessed with it. What do you guys think?
He's definitely at the top. My only other one would be from Monster Squad.
You know, I think this is actually fantastic portrayal. I love him, but I have to go with Bela Lugosi for the classics. I think that's just that was my introduction to Dracula as a kid. It kicked off my kind of vampire obsession, which is still kind of there, except for Sparkle Fairies. That being said, I mean, this is as close as a second as you can possibly get because he is absolutely fantastic in every second of this movie.
There's only one moment where I thought, oh, I don't know. And it was the last thing he says. And I'm not sure if you guys remembered. I don't want to really spoil it, but the last thing he says I thought was the least effective. Maybe I'll tell you both off mic if you don't remember, but I thought he was perfect. And this movie, if you can't tell from the trailer, hopefully you can, is very funny. This is definitely a dark comedy. It's extremely gory too. Brooks, you probably loved all the blood in this movie.
Oh, of course. I still can't figure out whether a lot of it was practical or CGI, and it's probably obviously going to be both. But I mean, it's everywhere and it's glorious. It's like a 90-minute feature of that scene from Dracula Dead and Loving It, when Mel Brooks drives a stake into his heart and blood just sprays everywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
There is a lot of spraying in this movie. What do you think about the performances? Obviously, we talked about Nick Cage, and we are going to get back to that. I personally am enjoying Awkwafina more in every role I see her in. I didn't love her in the Pixar thing she did. Which one was that? I'm drawing a blank on that. The dragon one.
Well, that was Disney, not Pixar.
Oh, you're right. That was Disney Animation. Thank you.
Was that Rhea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Didn't love that, but everything else I see her in the live action stuff, I think she's
way better in live action because I think she can bring more of her persona to it because she's very physical. And so it's like if you can't see what she's doing, it takes a lot of it away.
That's where I was going to go with that is like some actors, you know, they can be fantastic voice actors, which isn't saying that she's bad in that movie, but yeah, she has much more of physical comedy or physical presence that you need to kind of see to fully appreciate her whole performance. And that's not true for everyone. And some people, you know, I've seen people who are okay actors, but then they're fantastic voice actors. So it does go both ways.
I don't want to go too far afield, but I felt like in Rhea, she was given material that should have been in her wheelhouse and she just couldn't elevate it. This movie, the material is very much not in her wheelhouse and she's excellent. I mean, it's a very physical role. It's kind of a heroic role. She does great with it. I mean, I guess she did a little bit of that in Shang-Chi, right? But
Yeah.
that was always funny.
By the end.
Her role's a little bit more serious in this, and I think she nails it.
I think that's why it works so well, is because she's playing it so seriously, but she's so funny that it just comes through anyway.
Yeah, she is naturally funny. Nicholas Hoult, I thought, was very good too.
Oh,
You know, at first when the movie started doing the voiceover narration from him, I thought, oh, is that going to wear thin? They don't overdo it, and it actually works just fine. I think he's perfect for the character.
And you also have to give it credit for the opening scenes where it's like superimposing those actors in the classic roles from the Universal movie monster Dracula from the 30s.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
the moment I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm so in on this.
they made it a direct sequel.
But here's the funny thing is, so, you know, my partner Clark, he saw it with us and he loved it, but he is calling this Warm Bodies 2. And I wanted your thoughts on that.
I can
'Cause for
see
me,
that.
Warm Bodies was a lot better than it had any right to be.
And so is this. And I do think tonally, there's a lot of similarity. He's not wrong.
I was going to say, don't give him a big head, but then he doesn't listen to this. So that's fine.
He'll
He
never know.
listens to you all day long. So
He'll
He gets-
never know.
He gets
Same
to
with
be
my wife.
blessed with me all his life. So
Let's get back to Nick Cage, because Adam, you talked about this movie a couple of episodes ago and how it was one of your favorite films of the year. So I think we know what you're going to score it, but let's talk about why Nick Cage is on all of our top 2, at least, lists of best Draculas ever.
Well, first of all, he knows what kind of movie he's in. And I think everyone does, which is why it's so much fun, because it's not pretending to be this dour, serious horror movie. Or action. It's all over the place, but it has fun with it. And we all know Nick Cage is a bit kooky. Wasn't it on oh crap, Ghost Rider 2 that he was on set the whole time with like a skull face painted on and all that stuff.
He claims he remembers being in the womb. So
yeah, apparently so. But this is like a role that was made for him, because it takes every little eccentricity, every little weird tick and over the top moment he has. And it just said, it's like Chris McKay was like, hey, the director, hey, Nick, go on stage. We're going to put some makeup on you and just be yourself. It's kind of like Robert Downey Jr. is now officially Tony Stark. Like, it was just like, hey, go up there, action and be yourself. Go. Like, that's what I really feel like. It just him up there ad-libbing for an hour and a half. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had been ad-libbing for an hour and a half or just telling his life story. I can't tell.
I definitely think so. And I think they've made it really difficult for anybody to play this part, at least in a comedy, ever again. Because look, Nick Cage, we could do episode after episode just discussing this guy's career.
Yes.
I recall a year, I mentioned Pig in a previous episode. The same year that came out, I saw him do something at Sundance. I literally saw him in my favorite movie of the year and the worst thing I'd seen in 12 months. The same guy, same year. He's capable of an incredible range of quality, isn't he?
Yeah. And speaking of worst movies, I need to get you guys Razzie memberships so you can vote with me every year for the worst movies. So
I would love to. Chances are pretty good it'll be a Nick Cage movie, but he's
Probably.
so good in this. And I loved the music. I loved the look of it. I loved the,
it's like
I
a
said,
comic book.
yeah, definitely. And we talked about the tone earlier. It's super gory, but it's gory in a way that Kill Bill was, kind of silly.
Just over
like,
the top.
like Mortal Kombat, where it's
Absolutely.
like cartoonish violence. Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of arms getting ripped off. Cartoonish, exactly. That's the right word. I think we should dive in and score this. But before we do, I want people to see this. So, Brooks, how can people see this movie? It's not super easy, but you made it easy for me. Thank you very much.
Well, it's available to rent or buy on the streaming platforms. So there's Fandango at home, and I highly encourage anyone with one of those accounts to at least rent it, because you'll probably wind up buying it, which means you might as well just buy it.
Totally. It's absolutely worth seeing. Whatever it takes to get there, do it. It wasn't in theaters very long. You're going to have to find it elsewhere.
Yeah, it's $20 to rent on all the major things like Amazon and Vudu, or $25 to buy it. But yeah, you guys didn't watch it hard enough, so we're not going to get the sequel that should be,
I know.
Brooks already has the idea for what it should be. The most overlooked film of probably the last 2 years, I would
Yeah,
say.
I hope people are talking about it at the end of the year. I know that comedy doesn't get a big shake at the Oscars, but there are other award ceremonies
It
like
does
the
at the
Globes and other
UFCA.
things. Exactly.
Yep, Vice
exactly.
Martin. So
Totally. That's already on my list for Vice
Hey.
Martin this year. If you don't know, it's an award that the UFCA gives in honor of the two original hosts of this very show,
Mhm.
Jeff Michael Weiss and Jimmy Martin. So this one's going to be in that mix for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, I spearheaded Rose Byrne winning for Spies. So.
I know.
For Best Supporting Actress, no less. Not even that award.
Let's give our scores. I'll go first. To me, 3.5. Loved it. Thought it was amazing. There was that, like I said, that one little moment right at the very end that was kind of a trombone solo for me. It kind of was it definitely brought it down just a titch, but 3.5 is a great score. I thought it was fantastic. What about you, Brooks?
Well, I mean, we know how much I love my gore, and when I love when it hits the right way, it's a glorious thing, and you let it wash over you. It's hilarious, it's gory, it's got action, it's got some weird surprises in the story. They didn't advertise that it necessarily was mostly about toxic relationships, and gets into some mental health stuff. And yeah, I'm giving it my 4.
All right.
I'm giving 4 stakes to the heart.
How long have you been planning that one? Do I even need to ask you, Adam, what your score is on this one?
You never go full 4. No, it's a 4. And here's actually as I've thought about it since I wrote my original review and with this conversation I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm a 3.5. But then Brooks, you did bring up the very important point that there is a lot of stuff in here that deals with mental health and toxic relationships. And of course, there's little tongue-in-cheek jokes about the little memos of affirmation that he has all over the place. Like it's going to be a good day because you're good enough. And it pokes fun at that, but it also makes some very important points that, I think I said in my review, like some people could walk out of this and be like, I need to look inward and kind of look at maybe my life and see where I'm at, or maybe there's a friend. And on Big Shiny Robot, where I have my review, there actually is a link to the domestic violence awareness and how to escape those kind of situations if you need help. It's fun, it's bloody, it's hilarious, and it also has a message, and it's a good message.
Love this film. You got to go see Renfield, whatever it takes. Brooks, you gave it
4 stars.
Adam,
4 stars.
And I'm at 3.5. All right. So when we come back, we're going to talk about a movie most of you definitely know about. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We'll be right back after a short break. And we're back on Big Movie Mouth Off. It's time to discuss Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but first, here's an excerpt from the trailer.
I want you all to know that I'm grateful to fight beside my friends.
Incinerate them.
Always searching for a family until we found each other.
Are you ready for one last ride?
Okay, guys, this hardly needs an introduction, but let's give us one anyways, Brooks. What's this story about?
Well, our favorite a-holes of the galaxy are back. They're back in action, back in laughs. But as we know, or what you probably don't know, is there's an inciting incident, which I don't want to spoil, but I will say that it's caused by Adam Warlock, who is on the hunt for Rocket, and the High Evolutionary wants him back, and he's enlisted the Sovereign to find him, and now the Guardians have to save one of their own in the process, and hijinks ensue.
The story is clearly a Rocket story. It's been a Star-Lord story, the first 2 films, very much so. Maybe the first film was more about the getting the crew together kind of origin story, and Volume 2 was very much about Star-Lord's backstory, but this is a Rocket movie, which is interesting because he's in it mostly in flashbacks, at least for the first half of the film. I won't say why, but it's obvious. It's about his backstory, so there's a lot of jumping back and forth in time. I really had a good time with this. I've been a fan of this sub-franchise within the MCU for a very long time, since Volume 1. I mean, the first minute Chris Pratt's on screen and he picks up that little rat and uses it as a microphone, you just know the kind of movie you're getting. It makes me really sad that we're losing James Gunn to the DCEU, although Brooks thinks he'll probably be back for something, and I hope you're right about that, Brooks. But
Why wouldn't he?
what do you guys think in general of this sort of last lap for the James Gunn Guardians?
Well, it was very obvious that this movie wasn't just saying goodbye to the Guardians. It was Gunn saying goodbye to us.
Yep.
And like you said, he's going to be back with the DC. I don't know if they're going to call it the EU anymore. I mean, hopefully not. We just need to start over with that one. Just let's get rid of the old stuff, in with the new.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was his love letter. This was his saying, I love these characters just as much as you do. And by the way, who would have thought 9 years ago that Grandma and Grandpa would know who Groot and Rocket Raccoon are?
I know.
Or have a baby Groot little air freshener in their car. That's silly, but that's what James Gunn has done so well. And as much as he's having fun with it, and yes, there are some very intense and very traumatic moments. I mean, I'll just be upfront right now. If you have a problem with any kind of animal cruelty stuff, you don't want to go see this movie, because I have some friends who they will not see it because that is just, it's too squeamish for them.
Yeah, we should talk about that. In learning about Rocket's backstory, you're seeing what the High Evolutionary did to advance these quote unquote lower life forms to a higher plane of intelligence. And a lot of it is brutal. I will say that it's all CG, so that it's not actually happening to real animals, real flesh and blood animals. But if you're squeamish about that kind of thing, and if it affects you deeply, be careful.
Yeah, these are people and creatures and aliens that we love now. I mean, no matter what you want to say about how Star-Lord acted in Endgame or Infinity War, these characters, even though we've got our epilogue for them, they have left a mark that will forever have changed the universe. You could tell it was his love letter. I think one of my quibbles is it's a bit too long, because I really think the studio execs were like, okay, it's your last time out. Go have fun, do your thing. But you leave with a smile on your face and a tear also on your face. That was horribly said. Sorry. God, I said long day at work. But I couldn't have thought of a better or more fitting outcome and denouement for all these characters. Everyone ended where they should have.
What about you, Brooks?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, he's wrapping everything up in a nice bow, but not too tidy. There's still some places it could venture to. We don't know where they're gonna really wind up. And the one thing I think I love the most about the Guardians movies is how self-contained they are.
Yeah.
These are Guardians movies. They may wind up in other people's movies. They were in Infinity War, Endgame, Thor, Love and Thunder, but no one ever shows up in theirs. So I just think that shows how strong these films are that Gunn has made on his own.
That's a great observation, because I do think this trilogy could exist outside of the MCU, because you're right. It is very much self-contained. No one else goes to the places they go to. It's really
it's
just
in space,
them.
so who could?
Right. And you can kind of do anything with that, but none of the other characters ever join them. They join others. And I love how the Guardians have taken Nowhere, the skull of that long dead god, to be their base. I love that. That was a place that was formerly Jeff Goldblum's house, and now it's theirs. I think it's really clever. And I agree with both of you that Gunn was really giving us a wave, us fans, in this film. And I love how he did it. I think that his care for his characters is something that's been consistent all the way from the first movie. He doesn't make mistakes with them. I'm going to prove my point here by saying a lot of people found fault with the way Star-Lord reacted to the news of Gamora's death, and that he was selfish enough to kind of ruin everything in that moment. Half the universe died because of his decision to lose his temper. Gunn addresses that head on by having Chris Pratt make a joke about it as he's recounting his love story with Gamora to wrong Gamora. He just goes right at it. He's so good and so smart about the way he stays faithful to his character's motivations and stories and emotional intelligence. I just love that about his directing.
Well, and one thing too is he's also not afraid of saying what he really thinks. He actually, James Gunn is upset by what happened in Infinity War with Star-Lord, because when Gamora says you need to kill me, he's like, the Star-Lord, the way I wrote him and the way I present this character, would have done it in a heartbeat. It would have crushed him and left him completely, utterly devastated. But that's the Star-Lord we know, and that's how he would have acted. So, again, his character's being used in other movies, so he only has so much to do with it. But I just like the fact that James Gunn doesn't take anyone's crap.
He really doesn't. I'm going to miss him so much. Another thing I want to mention about this film that's just interesting for people who like stats is that Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, gets the first MCU straight up F-bomb, not in a post-credit scene.
Oh, no, it's there.
They cashed their PG-13 check and he got his one. And when it happens, it's a little bit shocking because the MCU has not embraced bad language. There's been a couple of S words. Yeah, exactly. Language. A couple of GDs, but never an F-bomb.
Captain America would not approve.
Were you guys
I put that in my review, actually.
I knew it was coming, so I was waiting.
I knew it was coming too, yeah.
I didn't. I hadn't read anything about it, so it definitely shocked me, and I smiled, though.
But it's like the perfect way of using it. Like, they couldn't have used it in any other scene any better way, because I was just there. I knew it was coming, and I knew kind of where it was. I laughed my butt off. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And it's like, of course Star-Lord said it. Who else would have said it?
I think the mark of a good story arc is that the directors or the people who are responsible for these characters can either decide to do something with it in the future or not. They leave it in a place where it's settled. And I think that this movie did that. I mean, do you guys agree that if we never see the Guardians again, we can feel good that Gunn put them in the right place at the end?
I do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it's not, I'm not going to say what it is, but there are two scenes. There's a mid-credit and an end credit.
Yeah, two of them, right?
That mid-credit scene, will say there was a song involved that was the perfect song. Yeah. And that left that, I was like, hey, here's the coda. Mm-hmm. And again, could it go on to do more? Maybe. I don't know. Right where it is, I'm fully satisfied with the ending we got. So.
It's kind of the way we all felt about John Wick 4. They left it in a place that's, you know what, I could be done. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Thank you. This is a much better franchise. Let's not kid ourselves. But I felt like Gunn put it in the same place. It could be done, and I think everyone could be content with that. What did you guys think of the performances? A lot more range was required of Pratt in this than we've seen before. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was great. I think Zoe Saldana is so perfect as Gamora. She just never misses. And it's a different Gamora. We all know why. And I think she plays that so close to the line and so perfectly. I just think she's so smart about the way she plays this different version of a character we all know so well. What do you guys think of the performances generally, though?
They've played these characters for so long. They can't miss. The one thing that I was really relieved with was Drax not laughing hysterically at every single joke in the movie. I'm glad that they toned him back down.
There's a moment between Nebula and Drax that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened in the MCU. There's a beautiful moment, and I'll tell you guys off mic if you don't remember, but it's so good. I think Drax was written really well and really well played by Dave Bautista. I think Nebula grows a lot in this movie, and I loved seeing that. Like I said, Rocket's not in it a ton, but his backstory stuff is amazing.
It's like he is, but he isn't.
What did you guys think of Warlock? That's an interesting new.
Oh, okay. So this is
well, it depends on how into canon you want to get.
Oh, so, well, you know me, I don't know anything about that. So
this was my other quibble. I felt like they had a different movie in plan for Adam Warlock, and then when the DC thing came along and James Gunn was like, hey, this is my final movie, they threw him in there, but they didn't quite know what to do with him, because I felt like he should, especially because he was revealed in the mid-credit scene of, was it Guardians 2?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You feel like this should be, oh, wow, that's, when we saw it, like, oh my God, Adam Warlock, that's a big deal. We thought he was going to play a role in the Infinity War, which he does in the comics, but he just kind of shows up, and I think Will Poulter did a great job.
With
like
what they gave
him. Yeah, they just didn't give him that much, and I'm not as familiar with the character in the comics, but his wackiness fit the Guardians world, but I didn't feel that his character was really necessary. Like, if he wasn't there, it wouldn't have changed the story.
It always bugs me when you get people that are like Captain Marvel powerful, and they can really
do anything.
They don't use it well enough. It's what Jimmy always used to say. You've got a nuke. Why aren't you using it? And he was more powerful than anybody else in the film, and they didn't explore that enough. I did love how they set his character up, though, as kind of a dummy. The idea that the high evolutionary took him out of the oven a little bit too early
he's undercooked.
It was perfect, and he played that part of it really well.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. I agree with you guys. I wish he'd been given a little bit more. I think there was room in this film for more of him, and I wish they'd done that.
I hope that he comes back for something, because it'd be nice to have more.
Yeah, definitely.
To let it grow.
I think they probably will. I mean, because his lap or his run just began with this, and so he is like a brand new character we've introduced. So I don't see why he couldn't go other places. But again, maybe he does get his happy ending too. We're not going to tell you. So
there's no way to talk about a Guardians movie without talking about the score. Did they get it right? How's the music in this one, in your guys' opinion?
The score or the soundtrack?
Sorry, the soundtrack. You're right. That's what I meant. The soundtrack.
Because the score was very by the numbers.
I thought it was totally fine. I don't remember much about it, but I thought the soundtrack was pretty good.
But none of them have been great. None of the scores have been great. And I think all three of them have been scored by different people. So I don't think that helps. But James Gunn's in control of his soundtracks.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing.
They went into the 90s a little bit with this one, which I thought was cool. I didn't leave there like wanting to immediately buy the soundtrack, but I thought it was effective. The eras they explored in the first two movies are just better. The 90s aren't great.
Yeah.
So it's a little harder to choose the evergreen winners from that decade, but I thought it matched the moments pretty well.
Yes.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I did enjoy the use of I'm Always Chasing Rainbows by Alice Cooper. That's always a song that doesn't pop up as often as it should, but I really enjoy it. And I love that they end it with a newer song, and it does feel like a really nice capstone to this movie as the credits roll. So
it's hard to find a place to stop talking about it because there's so much that we could say. Let's just give our scores and let people know what we thought. I'll go first, and I don't think this is going to be a big surprise. I'm an MCU apologist. I can't be objective about it. I love this franchise in particular. 4 stars. I think he nailed it. He stuck the landing. I'm happy if we don't ever see these guys again because he did it so well. If we do, though, I'll be thrilled because he's just made these characters so lovable. What about you, Adam?
Easily 4. I mean, if you didn't get that by the way we've been talking about it, then maybe you fast forwarded or you weren't paying attention because your kid was singing along to the soundtrack or something. I don't know.
Dozed off.
Yeah. Again, some small quibbles. It's a little bit too long. I do feel that Adam Warlock wasn't used as well as he could have been, but it's so much fun and it's emotional. And I'm not ashamed to say that I ugly cried on the way home. I held it all in and then got to the car driving home. I will give one warning though. We did kind of talk about, you get the first F-bomb. There's been a lot of discussion online whether or not parents should bring kids to this because it is a very hard PG-13. And I kind of feel like if they would have done a lot of the blood and guts on humans and not aliens, we would have seen probably an R rating, kind of like why they did the black and white blood in Kill Bill. All I'm going to say is, you know your kids better than I do, and I'm not in a place to say if you should or shouldn't bring them. People might have a 7-year-old who can handle it, and some may not have a 15-year-old who can't. Just keep in mind, though, that this is a little bit more intense than your normal Marvel movie, but at the same time, it's nearly perfect. Oh, and that reminds me, they did the whole like one take fight scene again, which I love. I'm a sucker for those.
And
me too.
One up all of the others.
I'm a sucker for a room clearing scene, and that scene is quite gory and quite violent. So, Adam, good advice. Definitely.
Yeah.
Think about that 13 number in
know
the
your
PG-13.
kids.
Yeah, know your kids. So 4 from me, 4 from Adam. Brooks, surprise us.
Oh, come on. I'm an even bigger apologist than you are.
So 4 for you, Brooks?
Of course.
Well, we loved this film. It's in the theaters still. So after you rent Renfield, go out and see Guardians 3, please. When we come back, we're going to do our guilty pleasures. This edition is trilogy enders. I think it's obvious why. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Adam McDonald.
And I'm Brooks Bird.
We're talking about guilty pleasures now. Adam just told me off mic that I made a mistake earlier, so we need to do a little bit of a reshoot. Of course it wasn't Jeff Goldblum in Nowhere. He was in Thor Ragnarok. It was Benicio del Toro as the Collector. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's talk about our guilty pleasures. This edition, again, is trilogy enders. These are movies that ended a trilogy. They don't have to be great. Brooks, I know you struggled with this one, so I'm going to make you go first. What's yours?
Well, I only struggled with it once I realized you meant trilogy enders. And when you just originally I thought you wanted to do just like movie thirds of a franchise. And I was like, well, where do I even start?
Right.
So my wife Missy gave me the idea. She goes, well, what about The World's End? That's technically a trilogy, right? I said, yeah, it's the Cornetto trilogy, because the other one I came up with that was supposed to be part of a trilogy, and this is where I was telling you earlier how they're kind of themed together, was like Scream 3.
Oh, yeah.
It was originally supposed to be a trilogy before it branched off into the rest of the films. So I'm going with those two.
World's End is good. That's a really, really good choice. That's an easy
The
one.
World's End and
Yeah.
Scream 3.
I almost picked The World's End too. But then I was like, I think Brooke, I had a feeling you were going to pick it. So I just said, nope, I'm doing something else.
Well, what did you pick?
I think this is actually a pretty fun and good movie. I know people might disagree, but you thought it was the reboot of The Blair Witch back a couple years ago.
Oh.
It actually ended up tying in to be this a sequel after Blair Witch 2, which
An actual sequel.
Much like Scream 4, Blair Witch 2 does not exist. But I remember, I'll never forget. I think it was one of the first times I took my buddy Todd to go to a screening, and you walked in, there was fog, and they had those little lanterns they were bringing you in on. So it was really thematic, and maybe that's why I liked it. But I just had a lot of fun with it. I love horror movies, even though I get completely wimpy at them. I like the Blair Witch movies. I saw the first one in theaters as a kid when we thought it was real.
That movie made me cry. I was so terrified watching that movie.
What's the name of the one you're talking about? I don't think you've said it, Adam.
It's just called Blair Witch. Yeah.
Blair Witch. Oh God,
Yeah.
I never saw that. And
it's Adam Wingard.
Should I?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one scared the crap out of me. That ending scene is one of the most frightening things I've ever seen on film. And I went into that expecting to not like it, but I actually did. All right, I'm going to add this to my list. So it's just called Blair Witch.
Yeah, I'll find out where it's playing so you can watch it. But yeah, just Blair Witch 2016. So
okay. Well, mine comes from 2004, and these movies are definitely a guilty pleasure because I'm not sure how well they hold up. But my guilty pleasure trilogy ender is Blade Trinity.
Does not hold up.
I loved the Blade movies. The reason I love Trinity, 2 words, Ryan Reynolds. He's great in it. But no, I probably, if I went back and watched those movies right now, wouldn't feel as positively about him as I do on this podcast. But I loved them so much when they were happening. I know Blade's being redone. Mahershala Ali is going to play him in the MCU, which is really exciting. But I will always have a place in my heart for those Wesley Snipes Blade movies.
The first 2 are classics.
Yeah. And Trinity is absolutely not. But Ryan Reynolds has some pretty great lines in it.
Parker Posey's nice and over the top as well.
She definitely is. So see, you're helping me make my case.
I've always referred to that as Van Wilder Vampire Killer. Or Vampire Hunter, because it was after that movie when he tried to kind of break away from his Van Wilder background. Yeah, I want to go watch it again, because if we did vampire guilty pleasure movies, it would have been Dracula 2000, which is a horrible piece of crap, but I
with
love
Gerard
dearly.
Butler.
Yeah. I also almost went with Blade 3. So
well, we were both thinking thematically, because of course I went there because of Renfield too. That was also part of it. So all right, your guilty pleasures, Brooks, give them to us again.
The World's End and Scream 3.
Adam.
All right, so it's the 2016 Blair Witch, which is on HBO Max.
Excellent. And I had Blade Trinity. All right. We're going to take one more break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about coming attractions. Stay tuned. Welcome back one last time on this episode to Big Movie Mouth Off. Coming attractions now. Adam, what are you excited about? What's coming up for you?
So I'm kind of staying on the video game streak we've been doing for a while, because I picked up Jedi Survivor and I've not played it much, so I need to get back into that.
You and me both. I've started it. I am loving it.
Oh, yeah.
But I need to find a couple days to give it.
Yeah, and it's pretty too. It's really
pretty.
So I am excited for Diablo 4. And I might have brought this up. And one reason is, as we record this is their final beta test where they're trying to get you to break the servers. Because when it launches in a couple weeks, they're expecting the servers to break. I've played every Diablo ever made. I even played the crappy mobile game, which for 2 minutes, then I stopped. I've gone through Diablo 3 more times than I care to admit. It is one of my favorite series of all time. And I did play the beta for it a couple of months ago and just couldn't stop for a weekend.
I haven't played those. What kind of games are they? Are they Souls-likes or?
So they're like dungeon crawlers, but
Okay. Yeah.
They're loot crawlers. So every single time you kill something, you get some kind of fancy new armor, or it could be crappy armor. Who knows? But it's all about like, I'll just kill one more thing. I'll just do one more thing. I'll get one more piece of gold, you know? The story for this one seems a lot better than the last one, but it's a game you pick up and play. It can be easy or hard depending on how you want to do it. And you'll look up and be like, oh my God, I've been playing for 8 hours. I should go to bed.
Diablo 4 for you. We talked about DC movies earlier, and I'm super excited for Blue Beetle. I thought the trailer was amazing. I love the casting. I don't know anything about it. And that's why I'm excited. This movie looks incredible. If you haven't seen the trailer for Blue Beetle, go look it up and watch it. It's kind of along the lines of Miss Marvel in terms of like focusing on cultures that don't normally get represented in superhero movies, which I love. So Blue Beetle's mine. Brooks, what are you excited about?
Well, I finally got my trailer a couple days ago, and it's obviously Meg 2, The Trench.
Of course.
It's one of those posters, Brooks, that could easily be a fake, but no, it's
Nope,
happening.
it's the official trailer. Yeah, and poster. I mean, come on, it's a giant shark movie. Now we get 3 of them, and
The
it's even
Meg.
bigger than the last one.
The Meg 2.
And
All
there's
right.
going to be like all kinds of monsters. And the Chinese trailer spoils a little bit that they seem to be possibly training one of them.
Really? To fight Godzilla?
I hope so.
I was joking, but why wouldn't that be
They're all
true?
Warner Brothers. We need the Meg, King Kong, Godzilla, some kaijus, some Jaegers. Let's do it.
You would burst into flames if that happened. That would be too much for
Oh.
you. So, Brooks, for you, it is the Meg 2. And
The
Adam,
Trench.
the Trench. Adam, you were
Diablo 4.
a video game. And for me, it's Blue Beetle. A lot to be excited about in the next couple of months. There's so much happening right now. It's a very good time of year. Well, gentlemen, thank you. Another great episode.
Thank you.
Love
Yeah.
talking about
you.
movies with you guys. I think the message of this show, if we haven't said it enough, figure out a way to see Renfield. That movie needs your love. It deserves your support. It is way better than you think it is. Trust your big
Yes.
movie mouth off friends. Trust us.
The
All
best
right.
movie you haven't seen.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking about it at the end of the year, and we're going to be talking about it on this show quite a bit. You're going to get sick of it. Until next time, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Adam McDonald.
And I'm Brooks Bird.
Thanks for listening. Big Movie Mouth Off is produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Brooks Bird and Adam McDonald. This episode and every episode of the show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my dear friend and partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.